Hi there, Periscope friends and Occupy the Need Act friends. This is William. I'm down at the University of Oklahoma. It's about 52 degrees. It's pretty chilly today, and it is uh, 4:48 p.m. and I'm just going to sit here and talk just a little while to you about the Need Act and how we can reverse everything. You know how we have to go to the bankers and ask them for money? The Need Act is going to make it where the bankers have to come to us and ask us for money. Yeah. Um, so, we got some traffic coming along here. Hi there. Uh, Said I'm unable to stream to YouTube, but you're going to see me on YouTube. I will post this to YouTube later. It just won't be live. And so that's University of Oklahoma across the street. We're going to be able to control the universities, kids, slackers, feral boys. We're going to be able to control the universities where they treat us like we need to be treated and teach us what we need to be taught, not the things that the bankers want us taught. And they are the ones that control the universities and all our education now. I just remember the first time I went into the first grade and they talked about Ms. Battles, the principal, had this fucking paddle with had holes in it that would really make your ass burn. Yeah, we're not going to have that anymore. They're not going to be able to beat us, either emotionally or physically. And so, anyway, that's what the Need Act will do for us. We're going to be able to control the nation that we live in because we will be the ones that create money. And whoever controls the power to create money controls a nation. And this is the most revolutionary legislation that's ever been introduced into Congress. It affects everything. All the things that you want to do, climate control, control of pandemics, everything. It gives us the ability to do everything that we need to do. Like we've got businesses that are in trouble now. They wouldn't be in trouble if we had the Need Act because we could create all the money that the businesses need to preserve themselves until we get the vaccine going. Without costing anything because we will be the ones that create money and money costs nothing to create. Nothing. So anyway, that's what I want to talk to you about. Slacker boys and my friends say that they do nothing. They won't be of any help. Well, just look at Portland, okay? Those are the slacker kids that are there in Portland giving them hell, giving the police hell, causing the police to come out and riot against them. It's the police that are doing the rioting. It's not the kids. Just watch the videos that are on my Facebook page, and you'll see them. And the videos that... I don't know whether I've posted many of those in my on my YouTube page, but they're all on my Facebook page. You kind of have to dig deep. I haven't been watching them real close the last week or two, but they're there, and you can just see exactly what happens. And don't have to have anybody tell you what happens. You can watch it. And see the full context of it, okay? You get the full context. So Anyway, I've just been on about 5 minutes, and I just want to tell you, kids, there's something that you can do that will change the world that you live in and give you a world that loves you and treats you right, that puts its arms around you and doesn't beat you into submission like the sadistic people that we have now. So let's think about this. It's HR 2990 of the 112th Congress. You have to put that all in there because we forgot to preserve HR 2990 as our bill, and there's another HR 2990 that came after ours. So if you just put in that, it won't. It'll come up with the wrong bill. So you have to put in HR 2990 of the 112th Congress in a Google search, and it'll come up with the legislation. Now, it's going to not have in there a lot of the things that I'm going to talk to you about having a $40,000 a year guaranteed annual income, and free housing and free transportation and free health care and free education in schools that we control. It's not in there in the legislation right now, but you can get it put there. And democracy, we got to make this a democracy that we live in. And democracy, they say, is not a spectator sport. We have to do it. And I've seen how you can do it because I've seen you do it in Portland and in Seattle. I've watched you do it. You slackers and skateboarders and druggies and you're going to be able to have be able to have more fun than you've ever had in your life. First, you're going to have to get yourself to Washington, D.C. But once you get yourself there and you make the legislators do what we need to do, then you're going to have all the support you need because you will have the NEAT Act behind you. You'll have the $40,000 a year in your pocket. You'll have the free housing. You'll have free transportation. You'll have everything free. Everything should be free because money is free. In the NEAT Act, money is created free. See, right now, how all the money is created is when you go to a commercial bank and get a loan, they don't have the money in there to loan you. They create that money. And then they create a contract with you and put you in debt, and you're a debt slave from then on, and you're in their pocket. You have to do what they say. They'll finally catch up with you, because they did me. They caught up with me finally, but I got away with it for a long fucking time. So, hi there. So, yeah, I got away with it for a long time. Had my own airplane, flew all over the country, in and out of Washington, D.C. and Chicago. Never did fly into New York City. No, never did fly into New York City. And I didn't fly west to Los Angeles because I live in Oklahoma and I didn't like those fucking mountains out there. And I had a high-powered plane. I mean, I could fly 235 miles an hour and fly at 10,000 feet. Yeah, I had a high-powered plane. And so I got away with it for a while, but finally the bankers make you do what they want to do, even though they don't know what to fucking do. And so here's what the NEAT Act does. It nationalizes the Federal Reserve. It puts it into the Treasury where we think it is now, and it's not. The Federal Reserve is owned by the member commercial banks. uh, that they own all the shares. And one fucking bank owns almost half the shares. That's J.P. Morgan Chase in New York City. Jamie Dimon, the chairman, chief executive officer of J.P. Morgan Chase, controls almost 50% of the stock in the Federal Reserve System. Gives him the power to do what he wants to do. And so then everything in our nation is to benefit the banks. Everything. So we nationalized the Federal Reserve and we pay them off. We're going to create new dollars in the Need Act, and we're going to buy their stock from them. We're not going to rob them. We're going to give them the new dollars. And then we're going to take away the power of the commercial banks to create money, the fractional reserve banking system. We take that away from them. And actually the fractional reserve banking system, that's where it says you got to have 10% reserves of the money that you loan. That's not true, because whenever a bank makes a loan, it creates the reserves right then. It might not be in that bank, but it's in the system. And that night, if they need reserves in their bank, they can borrow it. It's actually, the banking system's pretty fucking simple. If you don't follow the people that want to make it complicated, where you don't understand what the fuck's going on. It's pretty fucking simple. And there's a book called The Lost Science of Money, okay, by Steven Zarlinga. If you want a copy of it, it's an 800-page book. It's the most comprehensive history of money ever written. And you'll see that what we're wanting to do in the Need Act has been done before successfully for hundreds of years at a time. In fact, it's how we beat the British and got our independence. There were no banks in the colonies. The colonies created all their own money. So, okay, we nationalize the Federal Reserve, we end the power of banks to create money, and we spend money into the economy for the things we want, like that $40,000 a year guaranteed annual income, like free housing, like free medical care, like free transportation. Yeah, free transportation. We're going to have automated cars pretty soon, and those can all be owned by the government, and you get on your cell phone like this one right here, and you punch a button. There you go, punch that button, and there you go. The car will come. All you have to do is tell it in your program where you want to go, how many of you there are going to be, how long you're going to be there, and when you're going to come back, or what are you going to do next, and what are you going to do next after that, and the car will take you there and get you back home, get you on your home trip. You won't have to buy a car. You won't have to pay for maintenance. You won't have to have insurance. You won't have to have any of that shit that keeps you in slavery. And of course, you can buy one. You want to get a job besides your basic income and make more money, you can do that. You can buy the hottest car that you want. I know I listen to those boys that are demonstrating up in Portland, and all of them really want a nice car. You can do that. Okay. And you'll be able to get the education you need to be able to get the kind of job you need to afford the kind of car that you want. So all the things that we need can be paid for. And you can make it happen. And you're the one that's going to have to make it happen, because I listen to all of the people. I'm a take part and all the monetary reform groups in the United States right now. And I listen to all of these people, and they're not asking for what we can ask for. They're afraid to ask for what we can ask for. I sold cars for 10 years before I retired, and that was 16 years ago. I might have retired before you were born. And I hadn't worked a day since either. I've enjoyed Social Security. It's given me the ability to look around, see what's going on, and I found what's going on. 2011, Occupy Wall Street. I was taking part of that and gaining friends out of that, and some of them were in Chicago, in Occupy Chicago, and they were going to have a economics teach-in on live stream. So I thought, well, I'll watch that. I got grandchildren in Chicago. I like Occupy. See what's going on. So the first teacher that got up, there were two teachers. The first one got up. She bored me to death. She was just like the teachers in that school right back there. That's University of Oklahoma. There was one that was really fucking good, and Paul and I became friends as adults. And he was a labor economist, worked for the AFL-CIO. He was good. All these equality or equity curves that you see that they teach you. He said what you need to do is take these curves that I just drew on the board that my friends up at OSU, Oklahoma State University, say are the reasons we can't do certain things. So you open those windows over and throw them out. And I said, Paul, I was 21 years old in your class. I was asleep, and you woke me up, and you were the best teacher I've had. And now, since I've learned the history of money, I know he was exactly right. We need to take those. There's no such thing as equity, as achieving a balance. There's no such thing. All you Austrian economics kids that you've been taught a bunch of shit, forget that. Come over to the NEDAC. Come over to study the history of money. You know, they don't even have the history of money in those Austrian economics things. I think somebody pointed out one of them had a book. Mises had a book about money and banking. I looked at it. It's not about money and banking. It's about theory. It's not about what's happened. There's no empirical evidence whatsoever. Hi there.
All right.
So, anyway, okay, we're going to nationalize the Federal Reserve. We're going to take away the power of the banks, create money, and we're going to spend money into the economy for the things that we decide that we want. And the banks are going to have money to be able to loan. When you go to the bank for a new car after the NEAT Act, they will have to have that money in their accounts, either in their own capital or in savings accounts or checking accounts that the people that own those accounts gave permission to the bankers to loan. So they'll have to own the money. And also, if they don't have enough capital and enough depositors that give them permission to loan the money, then they can come to us and our Federal Reserve and borrow from us. The bankers, we're going to reverse everything. Instead of us having to go into the bankers to borrow money, they're going to have to come to us to borrow money. And then that gives us the power to make the decision of what we'll loan them money for. Okay? So, okay. That's enough about the NEAT Act. It's all in your hands, you slackers. It's all in your hands. And maybe we'll be able to get some monetary support behind you so that you can become active, like the kids in Portland. I understand there's a communist party in New York City that's financing them. Well, what the hell? You know, communism is just democracy of the workers. That's all it is. We hear all this propaganda about Stalin and all that shit. He didn't practice communism. He practiced Stalinism. And so, anyway, I think this has worked out pretty good. That's actually that building over there is kind of important to me. There was up in that window, just over my left shoulder, my older friend when I was a kid, was a student here. He was a music student here, and he came to visit me after we were just a few years ago, probably about 20 years now, and I was kind of upset with him that he couldn't keep up with me walking. Well, now that I've gotten to be almost 79 years old, which I will be next month, I understand how walking is a problem for us old guys. And anyway, he told me a little story that I'm not going to tell you now, but it took place in that window right up at the top of that building, just over my left shoulder, just right there. And he was my older friend when I was a kid. I mean, I got a picture of me going off to the first grade, and right behind me was the house that his parents were building. He's 19 years older than me, and became a reporter for lots of different newspapers and Reuters. Traveled all over the world. Was real involved in the Bay of Pigs as a reporter. Was captured by Castro. Did a TV interview of Castro from his mountain camp. And I said, Ray, that was you? I didn't realize that was you that did that interview. Yeah. He said they found out that I had broadcasting experience. He was a voice student over here. That's the reason he was a broadcaster. And they found out he was in prison. He had broadcasting experience, and they got him out of prison. I said, how'd you like Castro's prisons? He said, that sorry son of a bitch. He did not like Castro's prisons. And, yeah, Ray was quite an interesting person to me. He was all involved in, like the Bay of Pigs. He was in Dallas when Jack Kennedy was killed. He has quite some stories to tell me. And of course, as a kid, I liked those damn stories. And anyway, that's where he went to school, right there, and I did too. So, okay, I think I will end now, and it's been good talking to you, and let's visit again pretty soon. Slackers and skateboarders and broken glass kids. We're gonna heal the glass. Bye now.